뽀뽀즈가 돌아왔습니다. 짜란.
짜란.
네.
To get some quick disclaimers out of the way, these are my opinions. No hate is intended. This is purely for entertainment purposes, mostly mine. I've been complaining for months about wanting a one-door best friend that I could talk about my favorite songs of each album, my bias, records, favorite moments, etc. Until my dad was like, why don't you make a video comparing the albums since they're having a comeback? And that solved so many of my problems, some I didn't even know I had. Obviously it's been a hot minute since the album released though. I think I was salty about the comeback showcase, but we're here now and I'm mentally hyped about this again. For a debut this was top tier. This is gonna be talked about as one of the best 5th gen debuts forever. I just know it. They had Sungmin dancing to it without being prompted. They are literally winning at Idol Life. Doing everything right out the gate. I remember one of the main things I loved about Boy Next Door was the live sound effects. And I'll always laugh at myself because the first time I heard Lee Hun say, "I'll be your ideal type," and I said, "We'll see," is now one of my ults. The only reason I ranked it at the bottom is because knowing me and how I usually feel about title tracks being overplayed, I feel like realistically not a top song off this album that I gravitate to. Although it's still a song of theirs I could listen to like my life depends on it. There's something so beautiful about this song. The lyrics alone have me giddy, especially the end, when Eunhak is yelling about not being able to drive, but he can promise, K-san will get along with your dad for you. I'd again like to admire the live sound effects. Overall I feel like the parts that the members helped with really made this song. I honestly don't listen to this song enough. This is still one of my favorite pop songs. Something about it I just can't get away from. I feel like this song really let Eunhak's charm shine, and Lee Han's and Ya at the end. This album really wasn't what I was expecting, which isn't a bad thing by any means. I do love this album, but I can also honestly say it's not my favorite. I don't really ever find myself listening to these songs. I do really love Jaehyun's part here though. Them boys little actors, their stage presence is extremely admirable. This song was definitively just a small peek at what they are really capable of. I'd like to please point out the sound effects again. This song is honestly the perfect recipe to be my favorite. It's fun, colorful and borderline a children's song. For me to call this my least favorite song on the album is insane, but I tend not to really listen to slow-paced songs or songs that make me feel emotional, so this is completely just at my own preference. The song itself absolutely stunning. This stage, oh my goodness, I felt like a proud mother. Can we talk about the jump, and simply just Ryu's voice dancing presence? I think at first I wasn't too crazy about this song. I barely listened to it, but I quickly warmed up to it. It feels varied and whilst also changing it up a bit. I think I'd listen to this song more if there was a visual, but I do really love the way it sounds. There's definitely parts that just do something for my brain, like Eunhak's part that we're gonna take a moment to appreciate. To start Eunhak's voice here. Also Ryu's first verse makes my brain tingle. This whole section of the song. Lives rent-free. Something about the choreo and Ryu's part is so satisfying. This song is just so fun. I love it. This song really gave, but I like you a run for its money. Sorry, but I'm saying it again, Ryu's and Woonat's parts. I feel like they both surprised me with their talents, especially Ryu, whereas Eunhak really surprised me with his charms. Apart from all that, despite it being quite repetitive, I absolutely love the chorus. This song's just a little too slow paced for my liking, but where it picks up towards the end I really like. The lyrics really hit close. These lyrics, I'm really disappointed we got promotions for only 2 songs this album, but a strong part of me is also like they need and deserve that break. Not really much of a break when they still worked so hard they just didn't perform as many stages. Also they're probably trying to leave place to do specials in the future, so I understand it. They just cannot fail. I didn't understand how Dangerous wasn't the title track, but then Nice Guy released and I understood why it was the pre-release. Both songs were just too good not to get their starlight. Listen, I know the pattern I had with the less hype songs, but when this album came out I was dealing with some really stressful shit. Every day I was coming home laying on my aunt's couch and watching their comeback stages, but when this song would come on while I was running errands it was like a couple minutes of life wasn't happening. Oh my lord, I want this song to be the reason I go deaf. From now on when my brother asks how I can have my headphones so loud, even if I'm not listening to it, I'm gonna tell him because Dangerous by Boy Next Door. I love the stories behind how they wrote this album. Dangerous is just so iconic, and this part. Like I said, just not my favorite. Great album, I just think I tend to forget it exists. The day they flop I'll be so stunned. The personal timing with the meaning of this album. I think I was going through really bad burnout when this album released. I was mentally exhausted and stressed. Even though Boy Next Door and this album were huge comforts in it, I don't feel I got as into this album as I would have wanted to. Actually having a hard time deciding if this is first or second place. I think I only feel urged to rank it first because of how special it is. I'm really trying to work with myself on not following feelings and letting things simply be what they are. This album got me into Boy Next Door. I still absolutely love every song. They never get old. I still get excited when they come on. I'm actually shocked this ended up number 1. Looking back in the editing, I think it was obvious. I remember I was so excited about this album. All the teasers I knew it was gonna be so good. Every day I was watching the M2 performances with my grandpa, listening to most of the songs multiple times a day, on repeat. This was also the first album I had ever bought every version right away. When I rewatched their debut and comeback stages, this album is always the part I'm most excited to get to. So it's definitely safe to say it's in its well-deserved place.